1320 WILS Morning Wake Up. I like to go with my better half. I like to go out once in a while and go out to the restaurants here in the capital. When we travel, we definitely do more of that than when we're back home. I don't think we spend more than the average person in our age group going out. I don't know that we spend much less. As I'm looking at American averages, $144 per month on food prepared outside the home. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe we go a little higher than that. But, millennials, young people are, they're doing a lot more than that. Not cooking. They're going out, eating. Those lattes are expensive. Okay. But also the other things that add up with that, the cool hipster bars and places that we see popping up around our own area. They do quite well, it seems like. Let's talk about it this morning with celebrity chef Richard Chamberlain, who's on the other end of my... No, not that Richard Chamberlain. The other Richard Chamberlain, the one who does everything, but not like he hasn't heard that before. Richard, good morning.
Right. Hey, good morning.
Appreciate you being here. Well, you as a successful restaurateur, love millennials because they're out spending, and they're definitely... Boy, they spend a lot more than boomers or Gen Xers like me. Is that a healthy thing overall? Is that driving the industry, or do you worry about that long term?
Well, it's a combination of things. I mean, we're excited that people are spending a higher percentage of their income on dining out. But at the same time, they're looking for high quality foods. They're looking for, in our studies, we find that they're looking for more locally sourced items,
okay.
And just more value in general, I guess you might say.
So they're concerned about more. With foodies in my generation, they're taking pictures. They like how something looks, the presentation of it. But maybe the others, they're a little more socially conscious in the millennial group about, like you said, farm to table, things like this.
Yeah, exactly. We've started sourcing some local beef from about an hour outside of Dallas here where I'm based. And it's this little ranch up here that just produces really great beef. But when we tell them where this beef is from on the menu, it gets them excited because they know that it originated on a farm near here, and that it was raised in a good way, and that they're going to have a good, healthy and appetizing eating experience. So, yeah, it's very important to them.
That's amazing you say that because I remember about 6-7 years ago being with my wife in Billings, Montana at a steak place there. Not a kind of a hole-in-the-wall steak place, but it was run by owner-operator chef, and it had this local Wagyu beef, was featured on the menu, and I said, wow, that's impressive. And the woman who was serving us said, yeah, and that's the ranch owner sitting right over there. I said, that even impresses me more. This is so cool. I mean, I feel like I've got a connection to my meal here that I never would have had, but there actually is something to that, isn't there?
There really is, and even with, we try to get as much information on all the products that we source. I have a seafood restaurant here in Dallas, and when we call our purveyors, in the old days, we would call up and say, hey, give me 10 pounds of swordfish and 20 pounds of grouper and 15 pounds of red snapper.
Yeah.
And now we say, where is that red snapper from? And not like, what part of the world, but specifically, what coastal town did that fisherman leave from? When did he catch it? And how long did it take to get here?
Well, that makes total sense. I see that now in menus, too, whether things are wild caught, not only wild caught, but where they're wild caught.
Yeah, we also look for fishermen that are considered day boat fishermen. So instead of boats that go out for several days and might ice the fish over the course of those days that they're out on the ocean, we're looking for fishermen that go out for just that day. They make their catch, they bring it back in, and it goes directly out, onto trucks or airplanes to their destination, like our restaurants.
I think for senior chefs who are doing it in charge of the budget, the buying for this, that's a rather seismic change, isn't it?
It really is. It does add expense to it, but one thing that we find is that millennials they don't mind slightly smaller portions for higher quality ingredients. We can also fill the plates up with unique side dishes. Some of the vegetables that we're using right now are things that you might find in high-end Chinese restaurants like pea tendrils. These are snow pea tops that are extremely nutritious and flavorful, and sautéed tastes sort of like a very light spinach. And so we can throw in some ginger and garlic and a little sesame oil, and it pairs beautifully with a nice piece of red snapper or grouper.
One thing we're not seeing, I know, with restaurants here is that places that have stood the test of time to a certain point are having a tough go with millennials. Places that are through 2, 3, 4 generations, suddenly they're shuttering because they're worried about losing that next generation of diners. And there's always turnover with restaurants. It's a tough business, and you need to know, as you know so well, you need to know it backwards and forwards. But even for those that have weathered storms in the past, right now, no guarantee that they're going to weather them again.
You're exactly right. There was an owner of a very large chain of fast casual restaurants in my steakhouse last night, and he would ask me, "How's business?" I said, "Man, it's great. We're up 10% over last year." And I said, "How's your business?" And he goes, "It's not good." I said, "Well, what's going on?" And he goes, "Well, we're really just trying to attract these millennials, but they're ordering their lunch online to be delivered at their offices, and they're having home delivery at home and different things." And he goes, "Man, we're just trying to figure this thing out and get it turned around." So, yeah, there are definitely restaurant chains that are struggling, but I don't know, restaurants like ours, people just always migrate to good quality beef and seafood, and as long as we continue to prepare it well and serve it at a reasonable price, I think we'll be successful.
Well, I tell you what, that makes sense to me. Now, you're listed as Celebrity Chef, so I got to ask you this because I like watching some of these shows. My wife really likes the shows. I kind of come and go with it. But for people who are out there, if you walked in a room and there was you, and then there was Anthony Bourdain, and then there was Bobby Flay, and I start running down the, would there be this moment where there'd be kind of like, a little good, the bad, and the ugly, and there'd be this kind of like it's about to go down, or would you kind of
Right.
do you all get along real well, or is there a subtle kind of rivalry? I don't know. What is it?
Oh yeah, we well, it's interesting. We always when you meet new chefs in different cities, there's always that moment where you feel each other kind of, just sort of trying to see where this guy's coming from, but. Hey, we always migrate to, a cold beer together and talk about great food stories. And, hey, let's face it, the chef life is a tough life, and there's a lot of fun things to talk about. So
I can imagine so. So the rivalries, the throwdowns are good spirited for the most part. Then, right?
It really is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's great. Celebrity Chef Richard Chamberlain on board with us today. Millennials are spending a lot more than their parents and grandparents going out right now on prepared food, going to restaurants, but they're not exactly asking for the same thing as the generation before, and that's a challenge in the business. Richard, appreciate you coming on very much, and love to have you back again. It was a good chat.
Thank you so much. Richard
Chamberlain, Celebrity Chef here. He's got a whole bunch of places out of Big D and Dallas and other places around the country, and well known in the business and very successful, I might add. 1320 Morning Wake Up. Don't go away. WILS.
Richard Chamberlain is a celebrity chef. Richard!
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing wonderful, thank you.
What is a celebrity chef? Define.
Oh my gosh, you want me to define? I love it. Well, I've been around a while. I've worked in a number of high-end hotels and restaurants around the country, and have owned my own restaurants now for the last 24 years here in Dallas, Texas. I have a steakhouse and a seafood restaurant.
Man,
pretty hot little cigar lounge also.
So you've always, when you were a kid, you knew what paprika did? You just been into this thing?
Oh, I was. Yeah, I took a home ec class in high school to meet a girl, and I ended up being a chef, so I'll explain that.
How'd the thing work out with the girl?
Maybe 6 months, but I've been married for 28 years, so I found the right one.
Good work. Well, listen, it's fun to talk food. Now, what the trend seems to be, and we could go in downtown Champaign tonight and probably play right out, but the millennials, the 1835, I guess, is the millennials spending more money on food going out than any other generation?
Well, that's exactly right. They're spending a lot of money going out, but they're also very careful about how they spend it. And I have a son that's 21 and a daughter that's 26, so I see this quite often in their spending habits. And well, I can tell you they like eating in my restaurants for free because it's high end food and they don't have to pay for it. But no, it's funny. My son, he's a senior in college this year, and I kind of watch his dining habits, and to some extent we kind of tweak some of our own menu items based on what some of the things that he likes. But he's very adventurous. He loves trying new cuisines. He loves exploring like Korean food or Vietnamese food or Thai food, and really get into it. He likes big flavors. It's funny. He and his friends they don't eat a whole lot throughout the day. They tend to kind of hold back on their appetite, but when they do eat, they want something that's meaningful and quality. And so we tried to adjust our. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Chamberlain Steak and Chop House in Dallas. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, because I see a picture of you here, and I'm a little taken back because you look actually healthy. So I don't need a defibrillator. A lot of chefs are heavy, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, you're not. You look like you work out, and you look like you have about a 6-ouncer. That's about it. Good for you.
Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to stay in shape, and of course, my wife she keeps me on a pretty healthy eating road at the house here. And then, I really focus on the restaurants and eating out. I focus on pretty much lean proteins and good quality vegetables.
That's awesome.
That's kind of what I focus on.
That's really cool. Okay, well, that's a new place to go. I'd probably pick you over Ruth Chris anyway. Chamberlain Steak and Chop House in Dallas. Okay, so again, the trend is they're going out, but they want, they're careful.
Right. They want high quality. They want interesting flavors. Like, for example, recently came out with a new cocktail featuring fresh passion fruit from Hawaii, and this cocktail to get some citrus. We use kaffir lime, which is actually a Thai lime leaf that you can just kind of drop on the top of the martini when you make it, and it gives us this beautiful crispy lime place. But they want different flavors. They want to learn things while they're eating, and they want it to be more of a dining and eating experience than just sitting down and stuffing their faces.
Do you like watching all the shows, Chopped, all these chef shows? I enjoy them, frankly.
Yeah, I do actually. I don't watch them often because I work quite a bit, but when I do, I enjoy them. I always learn something.
Really?
I learn a lot of what not to do.
Yeah,
especially
right.
especially in some of these restaurant programs, but then I also learn new techniques and things in watching them.
You ought to probably be on one of the panels. You'd be a great judge on one of those shows, man. I think maybe a new career.
Yeah, I've considered doing that.
Yeah,
I do some local stuff that way.
That's
but I
awesome.
haven't done
That's cool. I tell you what, it's fun to talk to a chef. He's Richard Chamberlain. If we're in Dallas, we're going to have to go to Chamberlain Steak and Chop House. I really appreciate the minutes this morning. Thanks so much. Great meeting you.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.